Greetings everyone, welcome to Cyber Hashira. On this channel, there's a video that teaches you how to set up a two-tier CA using OpenSSL. It consists of a root CA and an issuing CA. Now for those who have watched that video, you may recall that the procedure was a bit cumbersome. So in today's video, I want to share with you a bash scripted utility that lets you set up a two-tier CA in under 2 minutes. That's right, two-tier CA in under 2 minutes or less, hence the name QuickCA. Let's talk about it. Okay, so this here is my Raspberry Pi 4, which has an OpenSSL based certificate authority for my lab. I use it for issuing certificates to other components within my lab. As I often issue certificates for various tasks and revoke them when not required, I began writing bash scripts to manage my certificate authority. Eventually, I was able to complete most of the CA related tasks without directly executing any lengthy OpenSSL command. And that's how I began working on QuickCA. Let me quickly cover all there is to know about QuickCA, and then I will show you how to use it. So QuickCA is a collection of bash scripts that allows you to perform various tasks such as setting up a root and issuing CA, signing a certificate request, revoking it, and examining a certificate. As I started writing these scripts on Raspberry Pi OS, they work well on Linux. These scripts require OpenSSL utility. The scripts for QuickCA can set up a two-tier CA within 2 minutes. There's no need to manually set up a directory structure or write config files. The script does it all for you. I must remind you that QuickCA is not intended for production-related use case. This is strictly for testing purpose only. I will now take you to my Linux VM where I will show you how to use QuickCA. Okay, this here is the tarball that I will be using in this video. You can download this from my GitHub or just git clone the repository. I will provide a link to my GitHub in the description. I will first extract this tarball. So tar xf is the name of the file. Go to the directory called QuickCA. Okay, these are some of the files you would find in the extracted directory. There are two executable scripts. There's setup root CA and setup issuing CA. I will first set up a root CA. Let me show you how to do that. To set up root CA, I would execute the script setup root CA. Okay, so the first thing the script will tell you to do is give your root CA a name. I'll just name it as my root. Now it will ask for some information which will be used to prepare the config file for my root. So I will enter all that information. Now it will ask for the type of key I want to use. By default, it will pick RSA. If you want to use ECDSA, just press 2 and hit enter. If you don't enter any information and just press enter, it will pick RSA by default. And the default key size is 2048. If you want to use a different key size, you can enter it. Like for example, I'll just choose 1496 as the key size for RSA. And now it will ask for the number of days the root CA certificate will be valid for. By default, I have set 3650, which is approximately 10 years. I'll just go with that. And now it's attempting to generate the certificate. It's reading some of the information from the config file. I'll just hit enter, give it a common name, my root. And that's it. Your root CA is all set. Now all you need to do now is run this command. So I'll just copy it, paste it. That's it. Your root CA is ready. And now I will set up my issuing CA, and for that I will execute this script. So I can just run the command setup issuing CA. Okay, just like the previous script, it will first tell you to give your issuing CA a name. I'll just call it my issuing. And now it's going to ask you for some information, which is going to be used to prepare the config file for my issuing. I'll just enter all that information. Okay, so key size, sorry, the key type, I'll just use RSA. Yeah, 2048 is fine. And the number of days the issuing CA certificate is valid for, by default it is 1825. I'll just leave it at that. And I just need to keep okay, I'll give it a common name, so my issuing. And that's it. Your issuing CA is all set. And just like before, all you need to do is copy this line, and your issuing CA is all set. Let me now show you how to perform some of the CA related tasks. But before I do that, I want to show you where your CA related files are. So if I go back into the home directory, there's a directory named CA. Now when you execute the script for setup root or setup issuing CA, it will put all CA related files inside the directory named CA, and this is in your home directory. This is where you would find all CA related files. Let me do. Okay, so this is a directory structure of CA. So inside CA, there's a bin directory. This directory contains all executable scripts that will help you with your CA related task. My issuing, if you remember when I executed the script to set up my issuing CA, I named my issuing CA as my issuing. And these are the directories inside my issuing. And this is the directory structure of my root CA, which I named as my root. Then there's a separate directory called web that has cert and CRL. I will be using this for CDP and AIA URL. I will show you the directory and files. So these are the directories and files. So once again, inside CA directory, there's a bin directory. These are all executable scripts that will let you perform those CA related tasks. We will talk about these scripts later. And these are the files and directories for my issuing CA. As you can see, we have a certificate, there's a CRL and some data files, and this is the private key. Here's the configuration file that was auto-generated by that script. And these are the files for my root CA. And here's the private key config file and issued certificate. These are the data files. And there's a script. This script is used for setting the environment variable. Now, these scripts are dependent on some environment variables, and without those environment variables, they're not going to function. So that's why you need to make sure to source this environment variable at least once. Or you could just include this in your bash profile if you know how to do that. Let me show you what's inside this. So these are the environment variables that this script is trying to export. So all you do is source, CA, and set env. That's it. I will now show you how to perform some CA related task. And the first command that I'm going to show you is CA help. So this command will display the list of all available commands and what those commands would do. For example, CA examine cert will be used to examine a CA issued certificate. If you want to get the list of all certificates, you would run the command CA list issued cert. If you want to issue a certificate using a certificate request, you would run the command CA issue cert. And if you want to revoke a certificate, there's a command called CA revoke cert. And you can also do tab completion. So if you just do CA underscore and hit tab, this will also display the list of all commands. Okay, let's execute another command. Let's try CA list issued cert. So this command is supposed to display a list of all certificate issued by CA. The CA here is the issuing CA. I'm going to hit enter. Now we are getting a blank output. This is because at the moment no certificate has been issued by our issuing CA. So it shows a blank output. So now I will generate a CSR and submit it to our issuing CA. Let's generate or create a directory, and OpenSSL request -new -subject test new key RSA 2048 no encryption out test.csr. Okay. Here's a certificate request. Let's submit this request. To issue certificate from the certificate request, I would use the command CA issue cert. By the way, if you want to know the correct syntax for any of these commands, you could simply execute this command with --help or just -h. Okay, so this would display the proper syntax to execute that command. So in this command, for CA issue cert command, I need to pass the CSR and the certificate file as output. So this is the desired file name. So for example, if I do CA issue cert, the CSR file is test.csr, and I want to name this file as test.cer. This is the certificate file. I'll hit enter. Now it will ask you what type of certificate you want to issue. Do you want to issue a server certificate, a code signing certificate, or a user certificate? For now, I'll just choose the option 3, user certificate. I'll hit enter. Number of days this certificate is going to be valid for. I'll just enter 365. And that's it. The certificate has been issued. And here's the test certificate. So if I run the command let me clear the screen. So if I run the command OpenSSL x59-n test.cer no out-text, and this shows the issuer was my issuing. Let's do CA help. So this is a command to list all issued certificate. And here's our first certificate. Let's try to generate another one. This time I will use another command. This time I will use CA generate cert. This command would generate a private key and a CA signed certificate. If you still remember, to generate this test certificate, I had to manually generate a private key and a CSR using an OpenSSL command. Now, if you don't want to do that, then you could use CA generate cert. This command would generate a private key, a certificate request, and get that request signed by the issuing CA. Let me show you how. For this, I will, let's try this. I'm going to make another directory. I'll call it web server. cd web server. Okay. And the command that I'm going to execute is CA generate cert. I will hit enter. Okay, it's asking for a friendly name. Let's see. I'll just call it my web server. The type of key, RSA or ECDSA. Let's choose ECDSA. Okay, so this is the default. So I'll just hit enter. Common name, I'll call it my web server. Organization, home, PKI, skip. Okay. Subject, do you want to set subject alternate name? I would say yes. Okay, so this is a syntax for setting the subject alternate name. So let's try this. I'm going to set and a DNS name. I'll call it my web server. And yeah, that's it. Hit enter. What type of certificate are we issuing? I want a server certificate. Enter. Number of days the certificate is going to be valid for. I'll say 730. Okay, so the certificate has been issued, and at the end it will ask you a question that how do you want the certificate to be outputted? Do you just want the P7B file and the private key file, or do you want the PFX file, or do you want the private key, CA signed certificate, and the the CA cert file all as separate files, or do you want all of them? Let's try this. I'm going to say 0 for all and hit enter. Now it's going to ask for the password because 0 includes PFX and PFX needs a password. So I'll just input some password. Okay, it shows the output that this file is ready to use. Here's the file. And if I run the command, let's clear the screen, tar xf. And these are all the files. Here's the CA cert, here's the signed certificate, here's the private key, the P7B file, the PFX file. You can choose whichever file you want. If you just want to export the PFX file, you could select the PFX file. If you just need the certificate, use the certificate file. And if you need this the signed certificate with the certificate chain, then use this. Okay, let's do CA list issued certs, and here's our second issued certificate. Okay, let's try the next command. Okay, let's try CA examine cert. So for that, I would get the list of issued certificate. If you want to examine a certificate that has been issued by your issuing CA, you could use the command CA examine cert. With this command, I would pass the serial number, and here's the certificate that was issued. So this is test issued by my issuing. Similarly, here's the second serial number, and if I pass the serial number of our second certificate, it would show the details about the web server certificate that I generated. Here's a web server issued by my issuing. Let me now show you how to revoke the certificate. To revoke a certificate, I would use the command CA revoke cert. For this, we need the serial number of the certificate that I want to revoke. So when I execute the command CA list issued cert, it displays the list of all issued certificate, and there's a V right next to it. I guess it means verified. I'm not sure what this is, but yeah, let's just assume that this means verified. Let's try to revoke the test certificate. So I would run the command CA revoke cert, copy paste the serial number, hit enter, and the certificate has been revoked. Let's do CA list issued cert, and now there's a R in front of the test certificate, which means the certificate has been revoked. Let's do the same with the second certificate. So CA revoke cert, paste the serial number, and now both certificate has been revoked. And now I will let you explore QuickCA on your own. You can download the script for QuickCA from my GitHub account. Just head over to github.com/cyberhashara and look for QuickCA. Here it is. I will also leave a link to this in the description. Feel free to do whatever you like with this script. And let me remind you again that this is just for testing purpose. It is not intended for production. Please don't do that. And yeah, that is all I have for you in this video. If you have any questions, feel free to post them in the comment section below. And if you enjoyed this video, please give it a thumbs up and don't forget to subscribe to this channel if you haven't already. I will talk to you soon in another video. Take care. Bye bye.